Welcome to this edition of Head to Head. I'm your host, Cam McKinney, and this is episode number 369 of the podcast. And on this episode, I'm talking about Kevin Durant being traded to the Houston Rockets. Another Sunday, another big trade happening in sports, and this one isn't a surprise. Kevin Durant, the polarizing superstar, has been traded to the Houston Rockets, and I'll be honest, I'm not that interested in the details of the trade. What I want to do on this pod is talk about the legacy of this player and how it's evolved over the last decade or so. Let's go back to the beginning for a minute. Durant gets drafted by the Supersonics second overall while they're in the middle of relocating to Oklahoma City. Over 9 years, he wins an MVP, finishes in the top 5 in voting 5 other years, leads the league in scoring 4 times, leads them to an NBA Finals appearance, and another trip to the Western Conference Finals. We all know what happens next. He decides to join the Golden State Warriors. I believe the issue with Durant is he hasn't found a long-term home since leaving OKC, and I think that home should have been with the Golden State Warriors, who have gone on to win another title without him. Durant continues to put so much pressure on himself by painting it like he's the final piece of a team about to win it all. That's my big issue with Kevin Durant, is he is treated like the big missing piece to these teams. Oh, he's going to be the thing that puts the Brooklyn Nets over the top. Then he's viewed as the thing that's going to put the Phoenix Suns over the top. And now, really, you want me to believe that he's going to be the thing that puts the Houston Rockets over the top and makes them into a great basketball team? With Houston, he's going to a good team. They were the second seed in the Western Conference, and they lost in the first round, but now he is going to be viewed as a piece that should take them even further, and I just don't view him in that light anymore. Because of the failures of the last few seasons as a player, I have absolutely no issues with Kevin Durant. He's a top 25 player of all time, no doubt. I just can no longer get excited when a team makes a move for him. I have similar feelings towards James Harden. These guys who are great all-time players have become journeymen. They're still very good basketball players. They get massive contracts, but if your plan to win is to bring them into the fold, you're in for a rude awakening. The Houston Rockets, for me, are not the ideal fit. I think the Spurs would have been a better fit because that team was bad last year. Pair him with Wemby in a place where the noise wouldn't be as loud. But with the Rockets, they won 52 games and are going to be treated like a team that should make it to the Western Conference Finals. Kevin Durant needs to go to a place with low expectations. I believe there comes a point in almost every athlete's career where they need to go to that place. For Chris Paul, it was in Oklahoma City. I mean, he had one of his best seasons with the Oklahoma City Thunder because we were no longer talking about Chris Paul like he had all of the pressure in the world to win a championship. He just had a quiet season with the Oklahoma City Thunder, which ended up being one of my favorite seasons I ever watched him play basketball. That's the type of team that needed to trade for Kevin Durant, not another team that views him as the missing puzzle piece. A place where Kevin Durant would not be viewed as the best player on the team. The Houston Rockets have really good young players, but make no mistake, Kevin Durant is going to be the best player on the roster. He's going to be the guy we talk about all of the time. But if he went to the Spurs, they have Wemby. It would have been more about Wemby than Durant. What I'm saying might sound harsh, but I think I like Kevin Durant more than most basketball fans right now. I just don't like the constant cycle he'll put himself in. I feel bad for KD because a lot of this is self-inflicted. I mean, he is the one choosing the teams. He wanted to go to Brooklyn to play with Kyrie Irving. They forced their hands for that team to make the trade to get James Harden. Then he gets his way to the Phoenix Suns, and these things are just not working out. My other feeling about Kevin Durant right now is I feel like he lacks self-awareness as an athlete. Like he's not looking at what's happening to him and going, things need to change. He is doing the exact same thing over and over again. Oh, it didn't work out in Brooklyn. I'll get it to work in Phoenix. And now Houston, like, how am I supposed to feel good about the trajectory of Kevin Durant's career when I feel like he's making the same mistake over and over again? Now, this time is a little bit different because I really do believe that Phoenix wanted out of the Kevin Durant business. And I'm even more questioning the Houston Rockets than I am Kevin Durant. Like, how could you, an organization that has young talent, think that Kevin Durant is going to be the guy who gets you to win an NBA championship? I don't believe they actually believe it. They want the big name. They want the superstar. They want us to talk about them. But the Houston Rockets cannot logically look at it on paper and go, we are now a title contending team. This is one of the things I wanted to talk about when it comes to Kevin Durant. He is one of the only all-time great basketball players who's not solely associated with one basketball team. Like when I say Magic Johnson, you think the LA Lakers, Larry Bird with the Celtics, Dominique Wilkins with the Hawks, Michael Jordan with the Bulls. Kevin Durant feels like a man without a country. If you're a fan of the Phoenix Suns, you're not a Kevin Durant fan. If you're a fan of the Brooklyn Nets, you're not a Kevin Durant fan. And the fans of the Thunder and Warriors have moved on. I think it's better to be Reggie Miller, who is the most beloved Indiana Pacer of all time, than it is to be Kevin Durant. Because yes, Kevin Durant is a better basketball player than Reggie Miller. But Reggie Miller is a beloved figure for one basketball team. He has real fans. I think of it like this. I'm a fan of the Boston Celtics. We overrate Paul Pierce at times because he was our guy. We were going to defend him no matter what. And I don't think that Kevin Durant has fans like that anymore because he's played on 5 different NBA teams. Yes, it is widely regarded that Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time, but the people who defend him the most against anyone and anything are fans of the Chicago Bulls because they have a history of rooting for that guy. Kevin Durant had a chance to be the greatest player in Oklahoma City Thunder history. Maybe he still is, but he's not the most beloved figure there because he walked away from them. He chose a different team. He went down a different path. Then he goes to the perfect spot, the Golden State Warriors, another spot where he could have committed to them long term and then decides against it and goes to Brooklyn. That is the moment where I think things began to go wrong for Kevin Durant. I mean, in a way, you could say he was trying to do what LeBron James has been doing, but the difference there is LeBron James has won the NBA Finals for 3 different teams. The fans of the Cleveland Cavaliers love LeBron James. Fans of the Miami Heat love LeBron James. Fans of the LA Lakers want LeBron James. That's what happens when you win. Kevin Durant has not been winning since he left Golden State. That's why I thought it was so wild this past trade deadline, all that talk that Kevin Durant did not want to rejoin Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. I think that's insane. I just don't know what Kevin Durant wants from a basketball team. I just don't know how you could still be high on the Kevin Durant arc right now. I mean, I was excited when he first went to Brooklyn. I thought it would work out. Him, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, those are 3 amazing offensive players. But for whatever reasons, it didn't. And then the exact same thing happened in Phoenix. And I'm going to be honest, I never believed that Kevin Durant was going to find success in Phoenix. I never believed in Bradley Beal and him. I never believed in Devin Booker and him. This is what I think I'm learning from this trade. I think the league still thinks way more highly of Kevin Durant than the fans and media currently do. I think most people are on my side. I think we are sick and tired of Kevin Durant always being in the news, always being in trade rumors, always being treated like he's the answer to a team that hasn't won yet. I think it's one of the worst things that could happen for your basketball team if you start to have conversations about trading for Kevin Durant. And I know that sounds bad. He's an all-time great player. He deserves your respect. I just wouldn't want my team, the Boston Celtics, to ever be in on acquiring Kevin Durant. There's just way too much pressure on a 36-year-old player who is past his prime. He's still great. No one's denying that. But he's no longer a top 10 player in basketball, and I no longer view him as a gigantic difference maker. And I don't need you to rattle off the stats. I know he still puts enormous numbers, some better than players I think are better than him currently. But that's not the point. It's what I see with my eyeballs. The teams that he are on, that he helped orchestrate, do not win enough basketball games. And that's part of the issue. He has made himself the face of these teams. He is the face of the failure that was the Brooklyn Nets, and he's clearly the face of the failure that was the Phoenix Suns. I mean, the Suns are the ones that I believe wanted to move on from him in this situation. I think this is more of a we wanted to get rid of this guy than he wanted out. I think that's clearly the case here. So at first he goes to Golden State and we all act like he's ring chasing. Oh, that's all this guy wants, is he wants to win rings. That's admirable. I think him wanting to go to Golden State is way better than him wanting to go to Brooklyn or him wanting to go to Phoenix, because there it just feels like he wanted to be the best player on teams with other stars, but he wanted to be the alpha. I'm going to bring this back to LeBron James for a minute, because when LeBron went to Miami, Dwayne Wade had already won a championship, and then LeBron left him, and I was a little worried for LeBron, but you know what? LeBron won another championship with the Cleveland Cavaliers. KD goes to Golden State. Steph Curry had already won a championship. They win with Kevin Durant. Durant then leaves, and he's won nothing since. Durant has not proven he can win without Steph Curry the way that LeBron has clearly proven he can win without Dwayne Wade. It really does look like on paper that Durant tried to replicate what LeBron James had did. I mean, LeBron had early success in Cleveland, then he joins a super team, and then he goes on his own and tries to become a winner. Kevin Durant tried to do the same thing, but hasn't found the same success. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of people who do not like LeBron James, but he has way more defenders right now than Kevin Durant has. LeBron James has real fans. I feel like that has been lost when it comes to Kevin Durant. Yes, we can be fans of his game and think he's an amazing offensive player, but I don't root for Kevin Durant the way that I root for players on my own team. And the problem is Durant now has so many teams, and the last two have ended badly. I was thinking about this. What do I blame him more for? What happened in Brooklyn or what happened in Phoenix? I blame him more for what happened in Brooklyn, because he's the one who wanted to play with Kyrie, and maybe even more insane than that, he's the one who wanted Steve Nash to be his head coach. That's when I start to have a problem with these superstar players, when they don't care who their head coach is. That's when it starts to drive me insane. Like, you just don't care anymore who's coaching the team. Maybe Durant wasn't getting along with Steve Kerr when he was in Golden State, but Steve Kerr is a great head coach. I don't like to call out athletes for having a massive ego, because I think it's their job to have a massive ego, but I do believe that Durant's ego has gone off the rails, especially when he was a member of the Brooklyn Nets. Again, I would like to reiterate, I'm still a fan of the player. I think he is an elite scorer. I just don't like the decision making. I also don't think he's ever fully owned up to those decisions. That's why I think it's kind of insane that Houston is looking at this and going, we're going to get something different out of this guy. We're going to get a different outcome. How can you think that right now? That's why I'm kind of interested in what Houston thinks they're doing here. Like, are there going to be more moves by the Houston Rockets? Are they going to try to pair him with another superstar player? At the end of the day, I just think that Kevin Durant needed to go to a place that was going to treat winning 45 basketball games as a celebration, like the San Antonio Spurs. They would have treated that like a victory. The Houston Rockets Rockets are going to treat losing another first-round playoff series like a disaster. I just don't understand why he opens himself up for so much of this criticism. I know a lot of you hate the decision he made to join the Golden State Warriors. Far and away, the worst decision he's ever made is leaving the Golden State Warriors. Because if he had played out his entire career there, won 2 or 3 more championships, he would be viewed as one of the greatest Warriors of all time. And I think that's something that is lacking from Kevin Durant's current status as an NBA legend. No fan base is in love with this guy. Yeah, maybe in 15 years when he's retired, Oklahoma City Thunder fans are going to embrace him, but right now he's not on their mind. They've moved on. They have another superstar. Fans of the Warriors don't miss him because they went on to win without him, with Steph Curry, with Klay Thompson, with Draymond. They won another title without Kevin Durant. I don't believe this clearly, but I do think it's interesting to think about, like, would it have been better for Kevin Durant to never have won an NBA championship, but to play his entire career with the Oklahoma City Thunder and be beloved by Thunder fans the way that, say, Allen Iverson is by fans of the Philadelphia 76ers? I mean, that's what I'm kind of talking about here. That's a guy who never won a championship with that team, but that fan base will defend him against the other NBA greats. They will say he's better than anyone, even though he didn't end up winning anything. These are the things I'm interested in talking about when it comes to Kevin Durant. I'm no longer that interested in the status of his career because I don't think it's going to amount to much. I don't think the Houston Rockets are going to make the Western Conference Finals next year. I don't think this makes them that much better of a basketball team. Kevin Durant needs to stop being treated like he's the savior of a franchise, and it doesn't feel like the NBA can quit this guy. I'm at a point with Durant where I'm rooting for him, not because of his legacy, but because I want something unexpected to occur. And at this point, him being on a great team feels unexpected. I'll never predict it, and I won't believe it till I see it. I can't imagine fans of the Houston Rockets are all that ecstatic to get Kevin Durant. I believe I have been rather negative on this podcast, so I do want to end it on a light note. I kind of hope this is the last spot of Durant's career. Like, just pick a team, spend 3 or 4 years with the Houston Rockets, and then retire. Like, I don't want to see you play for any other team other than the Houston Rockets. Let this be your 5th and final team. I can no longer handle the trade rumors. Is he happy with the organization? Is the team living up to expectations? And I know that's around the corner, because if the Houston Rockets are not great with Kevin Durant, we're still only going to talk about Kevin Durant because it all comes back to him. I like it when a star player ages and there's no longer pressure on him to win. Like, I enjoyed watching those last few years of Dirk Nowitzki with the Dallas Mavericks. He was just having a good time. He won his chip with that team, and he was loved by the fans of the Dallas Mavericks. So he had a fun last few years, and we got to say a proper goodbye to one of the all-time greats in the NBA. I really am curious what the send-off for Kevin Durant is going to be if we ever find out when his final season is. Will it be a celebration of one of the NBA's all-time greats, or will the team he's on not even care because he has no history with that team? I don't know what's going to happen near the end of Kevin Durant's career. All I know is this is probably going to be the last podcast I ever dedicate to talking about the career of Kevin Durant. It's been a fascinating career to follow. I've been a fan. I think he's an elite talent. I think he should have stayed with the Golden State Warriors, and I find it kind of maddening the situation he's put himself in. It's like, dude, just have a quiet last few seasons in the NBA and enjoy it. No longer be in the spotlight. Don't be a team's answer to try to win. Just play basketball. I hope he gets there. My fear is he's never going to get there because it feels like no one's on his side. It really does feel like nobody's favorite player in the NBA is Kevin Durant, and I find that to be kind of sad. That's why during the trade deadline, I was rooting for the Warriors to end up with Kevin Durant instead of Jimmy Butler. Butler. Like, I think that would have been the great farewell that Kevin Durant is looking for. Go back to a team that you played for, have some success, and then retire. Stop going to new teams that are treating you like you're the final answer to their postseason problems. Anyways, good luck in Houston, Kevin Durant. Thanks for listening to this edition of Head to Head. I'm Cam McKinney, and there'll be a new episode of the podcast every Monday on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So please rate, review, and subscribe.